pride. I think that's
Right.
the biggest downfall, unfortunately, in our community. Is a lot of times the pride that we have of want to do something on our own.
Right.
I want people in our business. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
And I think people have
kills us.
to maximize their options. You have to first start to see what's out there.
Right.
And like, for instance, when it comes to owning a business or buying a business, if you need a loan for your business, a lot of times people aren't too picky on what type of loan they get.
Yeah.
It's if this is the loan it takes,
Right.
whether it's a CDFI loan where the interest rates may be a little bit higher, or if it's an SBA loan, or if it's a regular business loan from a bank.
Mhm.
It's wherever you're at that moment. Your process is, my goal is to grow this business, and I need this funding to help buy equipment and whatever to for labor to make sure that I can help grow.
Right.
And so when it comes to home ownership, we almost have to look at it the same way.
Right.
Is don't be all too concerned
Right.
about what type of loan it is.
Right.
Just focus on the goal.
Right.
Like the loan we got was a what's that 3.5% down? I can't believe that. FHA loan.
FHA.
We got
Right.
an FHA
Right.
loan, and it's like interest rates was a little bit higher for that
Right.
one.
Well, normally the rates on that one is probably lower, so it just depends on your situation.
I think at the time, they look at the credit, and
So one of the things
Right.
I've realized is this is that in California, it's not like the straightforward or the linear way to buy homes here because of the price points, right? So in California, you gotta be creative, very, very creative to get people into homes. You gotta be creative where in terms of you gotta put your money together, right? You gotta come up with 20% down. You gotta come in with you have to use certain programs. Programs are going to be big for people who are not only first-time home buyers, but people who are actually in say in the military. You have the VA. The VA is one of the biggest programs. When we go on the East Coast, like even Midwest and stuff, sometimes I talk when we go to conferences and I talk to other people from different states. I'm like, yeah, we do the VA loan. We do a lot of VA loan. They're like, yeah, y'all do VA loans? I'm like, yeah. But while they do a lot of USDA loans, right?
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of farmers out there. But there's different programs that you can fit into. Now, one of the things I would say is that in California, it's all about the equity plays, right? That what we just described here is an equity play where number one, you always have to understand the numbers and how that works when it comes to your equity, because you're going to leverage your equity in the future.
Mhm.
Because keep in mind, you can invest in real estate is always going to be the safest asset. That's what you always got to understand. There's a lot of people who are right now in millennials and the generation after millennials, they're invested in the stock market. It's the biggest amount of people in the new generation that is invested in the stock market. So they understand how investment works, how money works. Now they don't see themselves as purchasing homes, right? Why? Because in their minds, it has been downloaded into them that it's too expensive. They can't afford it.
Right.
Right. Now, they would rather stay with roommates. Right. They'd rather in California on the radio. I'm listening to these radio shows in the morning, and even with I was on a town hall meeting yesterday with one of the state legislators, and one of the questions from somebody in San Diego was that why is it that I'm in finance, I make over 6 figures, and I still have to live with roommates, right? Now, I would say, just like we're talking about the rent, and I would say to people out there, you don't have to it's okay for you to have a roommate, but if it's something where you think you're going to have to stay there permanently, this is where, number one, you got to leverage the situation in terms of, one, same way you have a roommate right now, why not put your money together and buy a house and be roommates, right? Because that's going to get you out of the roommate situation a lot faster than you being roommates with someone, right? Because number one, the equity play is now coming into play. Just like the invest in the stock market, homes appreciate. As you pay your rent, as you pay your mortgage, just keep in mind, you are paying down on your principal. You also, and that means that when your home increases, goes up, and your principal goes down, that gap is called equity, right? That equity is I always say is inadvertent and is like unrecognized savings a lot of times. With that equity, you can now use in 2, 3, or 4 years, you can now leverage that equity and now purchase. So say you bought the home, and keep in mind, if you want to cut your mortgage in half, a lot of people always like, oh, well, Donald Trump was talking about that 40-year mortgage or the 60-year mortgage, right? Or something like that.
He's talking about
The 50-year mortgage, right? People were like, oh yeah, that's a good play, and there's good and bad about it, right? You're still in a mortgage, right? But keep in mind the goal is for you to pay that down fast. You have 30 years, right? 30 years to pay down a mortgage at a 30-year fix. You can cut that in half by simply paying one extra payment.
Well, I was gonna bring that
Right,
up. There's,
one extra payment
there's
a year.
There's a trick to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Just pay one extra payment that goes to your principal per year. You can cut your mortgage in 15 years. Now, doing that.
Wait. Explain that real quick, because I know some people look at it 30 years and they be like, oh my gosh, that's
Right.
whatever. You guys hit on that, what you just said.
Right. So your loan is amortizing, which means if you ever heard about compound interest, it's accruing interest every time on the principal. Every time you make a payment, it accrues more interest on the principal. But if you can pay down that principal a lot faster, it accrues less interest, right? So which you accruing less, because keep in mind it's PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's your mortgage payment. If you can manipulate the principal and pay down a little bit faster, that means it's not adding as much interest onto your payments or your loan as are paying it every month.
Mhm.
2 out of 30 years. So you're going to cut it in half. And that's basically how it works. Now, why I say that is because, number one, we're looking at the equity. Investors are big in California because, number one, we have a lot of the equity plays big here. Why? Because the price of homes. Keep in mind, if you compare to the Midwest, a home here is like the average home here is like right now in California is $905,000 in California, right? Now you look at a home. I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the average price of the home is $375,000, right? So where would you get the most money back if it increases by 1% appreciation? California,
Yeah.
right? So people will rather actually play their money out here in California. The same way that that's why I'm trying to teach a lot of millennials and people how to buy homes out here. Right? You don't have to, you can't be thinking, oh, I'm going to buy a home and it's going to be my permanent forever home. Right? Our parents paid around less than 300 and some, well, most people's parents and grandparents paid less than 300 and some $1,000 in California to purchase a home. Right? So now you're looking at close to $1 million, an entry level home. Right? So it is going to be a equity play. Right?
One thing I was going to hit on too, like we were talking about, situation where they were like, hey, I make $100K and I got roommates. I had 3 gentlemen who graduated right out of college and they went to Qualcomm. They all started off making $100,000. They bought a house instantly. So one thing a lot of people don't realize too is if you go to college,
right,
for 2 years straight, that counts as work history.
Right.
So as soon as they got out of college, they had a $100,000 salary at the entry level that they did for their jobs with Qualcomm.
Right.
And it was 3 gentlemen. So instead of them wanting renting, they all was able to buy a house.
Right.
So all they would use $300,000 of their income. They went and bought one house. All 3 of them stayed in.
Right.
4 years later, all 3 of them are buying their own houses.
See, that's how it works. That's how it works.
I teach people like, hey, you cannot be afraid to just do what you need to do for a couple of years. It may not take forever, like 2-3 years. Let yourself pay less of a monthly payment than what you might have been paying on your rent.
Right. Start
paying down the equity in the property. So when you're ready to sell that house,
right,
next you know you're about to go split it 2 or 3 ways.
Exactly.
Point, right?
Exactly.
Now you got down payment for the next house.
Yeah, for the next house, right?
And that's how people build their communities.
And that's how investors do it, right? Because they pull their money together. Now, even for college students, there is a program out there. You can buy your home as a college student. You have to just your parents could buy a home as a first-time home buyer with a first-time home buyer rate, even though they owned a home before. They can buy a home for a college student. The home just has to be close to the college campus. I think it has to be at least 5 miles from the college campus, right? And they can buy for that college student, go into college at that campus, and that loan will be treated like a first-time home buyer loan program. So these are ways in which, number one, entry level, then you're not only preparing, you're not only buying a second home, but you're also creating. You can buy a home and rent it out to the college students or his friends, right? As roommates. We all know in college, roommates is the way to go, right? So you can create an income generating asset, and also have your college student be prepared to be a homeowner by the time they graduate, right? These are things that we kind of show people how to do in terms of, number one, in California, you got to be very creative. Yeah. Somebody showed me even with annuity, like in life insurance, right? If you buy a home, why not take out life insurance just in case? And that's something we don't talk about. You can take out a 30-year term life insurance policy. 30 years is for the if you're going to buy a home in a 30-year fix, take out a 30-year life insurance policy, because one of the things that we always see is things do happen, right? Life happens, right? Yeah. And if life happens, now if anything happens, you have a life insurance that actually pays off the home, right? So I mean, you don't have to. In that case, number one, you're not going to leave that behind. And number two, you're not going to leave uncertainty behind, right? Of how they're going to pay the mortgage. So these are the things that, number one, we can combine all the financial knowledge and teach people how to actually be very creative and not only buying a home or investing in home ownership, but also preserving wealth, right?
Yeah, you even could get creative. So just how you have a program you could buy for your kids, you have a program where you could help buy a house for your parents as well too. So I had a client in the last 2 years or so bought 2 houses at the same time and only used 8.5% down. So he bought an FHA for himself as his primary residence, only put 3.5% down, and was able to buy a house on a conventional loan at 5% for his parents.
Right.
So he qualified just off of his income. We have to show proof that the parents couldn't qualify for the house on their own.
Right.
And he was able to buy the house for them. And so 8.5%, he got 2 properties.
Nice.
At the same time.
Nice.
Both. So where
his parents went on the loan with him on
No, he bought they both under his name.
Oh wow.
But they both under his name, but the parents were on the title of the property as well.
Okay.
So basically he bought the house for them with his income qualifications. They moved in the house. He was able to live there. He lived in his own property. So it was both their private residence. So that's what we mean by creativity, and build wealth, being able to get 2 homes within your family for 8.5%.
Right.
Whereas you have to be working with people to understand that you could do these type of things and how to obtain these goals, and have the knowledge to teach you how to start putting more doors in your family, put more wealth within the family without spending 20-30%. Right. To buy 2 houses. So it's all about how we educate each other and how we teach each other how we can build this wealth.
Yes.
Like I said, with the insurances, put them in the right insurances, with the protected ones. You know what I mean? That can help you. You may not lose that 30 years, all of a sudden it's gone. If nothing happens to you, you just spent money for 30 years and it's gone.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So finding out the right thing to do and teaching each other.
Right.
Not keeping this information a secret. We have to be willing to teach each other. So that's why we talk about Clinton being and NARAB and us being parties organizations and us doing these podcasts. Right?
Exactly.
These are things that we need to start tapping into more within our community. And people have to be willing to listen too. So, we can leave it to the water, but we can't make it drink it. So we all gotta do our part. We can teach it, but you gotta listen.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, I mean, you're getting grade A information here.
That's what we do, man. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, I think what we're trying to come across is that life be lifing, and you have to live somewhere. You have to do something, and home ownership is progress. And sometimes we know it can be a struggle for a little bit, maybe a struggle for a few years. But trust me when I say this, it is worth it. And it's worth it because you want to be thanking yourself in your older age, thinking, thank God I bought the house, because if I didn't, I'd be renting right now. And my rent probably be higher than what my mortgage payment is at this time. Or I don't have a mortgage no more, and my friends are still renting,
right,
and still have to work.
Right,
I may have to work I could retire off my fixed income,
Right.
or I could work part-time,
Right.
or I could enjoy doing what I do and don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle.
Right.
I mean, I see it right now in my own personal surroundings, people that are struggling financially because they couldn't make the right decision at like 55.
Yeah.
Right.
At 55, you
Right.
know, and it's all about getting, like Dion and Clinton said, it's all about getting that knowledge and education. Don't
Right.
limit yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I even had someone that was in this last week. I had a couple people who say, "Oh, I don't know about this program because another component to the program is it's a shared appreciation loan." So what that means is that for the Dream for All, it's a shared appreciation loan. So what
Right.
that means is any equity that's gained from the day that you purchase a house to you do one of those triggered events I was talking about before. So you sell
Right.
a house, refinance, try to take somebody on or off title, or 30 years go by. When any one of those four things happen, then they're going to have you do an appraisal, and whatever equity that was gained from the day you bought the house to the day of that event,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to give them a portion of it. So it'd be either 15 or 18%. It'll be 15% if your income is under 80% of the area median income.
Right.
So whatever location you buy a house, they're gonna look and see what the average income is, whatever the 80% mark. If your income was below that number at the time you bought the house, you gotta give them 50% of your 15% of your equity. If it was
Mhm.
above that 80% mark, then you gotta give them 20% of your equity. But I've had people say, "Oh man, I'm gonna do that program. I'm gonna have to give these people my money
Right.
when I sell my house or something." I said, "So you rather have nothing of
Right.
nothing than 80 or 85% of something?"
But just keep
I
in
said,
mind.
"Math ain't math."
But just keep in mind, they just gave you 20% down.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, why would you be willing to throw away 85% of equity because you want to give somebody else 15 or 20%?
No, that's not
Right.
They don't want to, like, they don't want people saying, "You make that decision. Why would you do that? Why would you get some?" And I think that's it. That we're too concerned about people that really has no effect on how we should live. But we're too concerned about what they think. You got that.
Yeah.
You did that program, and when you ready to sell your house, they're going to get that much from you.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to have done that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And I realized how much they walked away. So if they got 5, 10, 15,000, that means you got 40, 50, 60, 70,000, right? So it's like people don't want to think that far ahead. As soon as they hear about that, that's why I said that pride thing. Oh, I got to give somebody something
Right.
in order for me to get this now,
right.
right? But they don't want to sit down and really listen and just pay attention. That's why I say you can't be afraid to say no.
Right.
Think about it like this: if you had $100,000 equity, you might have to give them 50 or 20, but you just walked away with $8,000, and you had a house
Mm-hmm.
that you had all that time. So which one
Right.
more important? You losing 8,000 or giving away 15 or 20?
And then-
make it make sense. So you have to just be real with people and educate them
Right.
on how to think properly.
And think about your generation, your kids. Your kids can benefit from this too.
Mm.
A lot of times people say, I do this for my kids. I'm doing this for my kids.
Right.
And home ownership is something you can do for your kids.
Right.
But you guys are hitting on this real quick. We got less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
We're talking about the state of California and how expensive it is, especially cities like LA, San Diego,
Right.
and San Francisco. And so, not necessarily specific about this Dream for All program, but just talking about home ownership in general.
Right.
Would you recommend that they do move to like a Tulsa or to like a Tennessee or
Tulsa.
a Texas?
Not task now.
I ain't worried about no.
So this is what I think there's imaginary barriers we put up in our mindset based upon how we were programmed to believe, like that it's like this. Like I was in Tulsa and gas was like $2, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I'm like,
It's like, what?
did I leave the country?
Yeah,
Right now,
You do not want to move to Tulsa.
no. But yeah, I
That
mean
history,
that
that's a
that
whole
was
story.
kind of like because in California, and I remember us talking to somebody in California who came from Tulsa, who came to California. They were like, "Yeah, I was in California," and I'm like, "That's the first thing that I was watching is the gas prices." As soon as I rented a car, I was like, "Why is your gas prices so high?" That's like,
That's
so
the thing we say, why y'all
Right,
prices so low?
right. So I'm like, we said differently. Why your gas prices so low? So I would say it's like this, man. The thing about it is that once you understand that it's a numbers game at this point in the game of buying a home and buying real estate, yeah, if the numbers work anywhere, make that move, right? It's a risk anyway, right? I would say renting is a risk as much as buying a home is, because you don't know if you're renting. Just keep in mind, number one, you're paying 100% interest rate, right? So none of your money is going to savings. Number two is that your home is not accumulated. Nothing that you pay is accumulated or working for you. It's like you're giving money for somebody else to put it to work for you. It's like yeah, exactly. It's like the bank has the best business model in the world. Give me your money and I'll pay you to take it, and then I'll go make my money on your money. Right. So I mean, that's kind of like how the shift happens with home ownership, right? Is that number one, you look at it as a numbers game. I would say buy a home where you are and you live right now, right? Try to buy that home. But investment property, you don't have to buy it in the same state, right? The numbers just have to work. There are places in California. A lot of people always like, oh, California is so expensive and this and that. I can't buy a home here. Yes, you can. In California, you can. Right, there are places in California where you can go and buy a home still under $500,000.
It's still affordable in Inland Empire.
Yeah, Inland Empire, Merced. There's about 10 of the places in California you can buy a home for around $375. Victorville, right?
And now there's even programs too. So, like, say for instance, like I have programs where you can start looking at those manufactured homes that's on leased land. So you only got to put 5% down.
Exactly.
20% term. It's a 20-year term, but you only have to put 5% down. You need to have high credit score. So now we can go back and start revisiting these type of properties, and see if it makes sense. If that's the only option. I'm always telling people get a a standard home if you can, just because it builds equity quicker or something like that. But this is all you have to do to start building that wealth. We do what we do. You know what I mean? So and then there's opportunities for stuff like that people don't know about.
And then there's the value add situation with the ADUs, as Dion was mentioning, right? It's like right now you can with your FHA loan or 203K, you can create 3 ADUs based upon the new laws for ADUs on one lot. It doesn't have to be 3 separate ADUs. You can actually now convert a garage into an ADU. You can now convert a loft into an ADU and then build a separate ADU all in one, right? And those are 3 ADUs or 3 equity plays you just made by purchasing one home, right? So a lot of people, like I have a listing right now and it's getting a lot of activity, and I've seen a lot of people coming through, especially families, and a lot of them are a little bit in shock by what they're getting for the price, right? Now, the investors, they're trying to make a quick buck. And that's the competition I'm seeing, is that you have the entry-level families who are looking for that home they want to move into, right? And make it their home, right? Right now in San Diego, it's hard to find a single-family residence, right? For under, I would say, $675, right? A single family, nowhere in San Diego County, right? So if there's a single-family residence available, you're going to, at under $675, you are going to get a lot of people looking at it, because it falls into that entry-level price range, which is, or the entry level, what most people are qualifying for in California is that between 600 and maybe 700, right? That's the entry level, what most people are qualifying for in certain areas, and especially where the AMI is below average too. So people who want to get into that home ownership, trapped in that area, not trapped now, and say who stay in that area, are going to actually look at homes, but just keep in mind, you're looking at homes that's the same home when it's converted or actually after repairs or rehab, it's $825,000, right? So there's going to be people they're going to be fighting against the investor, competing, and then you're going to be fighting with the average homeowner. And that's what we're seeing right now, right? The investors thinking the value add, the homeowners thinking, hey, I want this home turnkey ready so I can move in with all the nice stuff and everything. But you're competing against an investor, right? So that's where you have to start thinking of, number one, it's a numbers game. The value add play, the equity play. those are things that as a first-time home buyer, you have to be thinking of now, especially when you're in that bracket. Right. So and you want to compete against the investors coming in with all cash. Right.
Yeah.
So I want to just put that out there because it's like I see that in real life now. And the thing about it is that I know the seller wants the best amount, the largest amount of return on the investment. Right. But it's to help that first-time home buyer who's going to live in it, make it home, and try to and make sure that they can build generational wealth with their family, you know.
Amen. All right, so less than a minute left. Dion, those who are inspired want to become a homeowner now, how can they find you to get this Dream for All program?
We could definitely hit me up on Instagram, Mr. D Love. You can give me a call directly, 858-382-0856, or on Facebook under my name, Dion Westbrook. And yeah, I'm definitely here to help. I look forward to working with you guys.
All right, call Mr. D Love. He'd love to give you that loan to help you become a homeowner.
All right.
You know,
Into your main home.
yeah. If you need some help with finding that home, call Mr. Clinton James.
That's right. Your local real estate broker. You all know me already, man. So, but at the same time, the guy with the nice skin. You know what I'm saying, yeah. Let me look at that. Yeah. But yeah. So give me a call anytime. I mean, I love this helping people get into their home and accomplish their dreams. It's not about me selling you a home. It's about me educating you. Because I think I've seen when you're educated about buying a home and you're educated about home ownership, you usually keep that home a lot longer.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys same time, same place in a couple weeks. Until then, peace. Call D Love and Clinton. Get your home.
Let's
Bye.
do it. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate you. Hit us up if you got any questions in the DM. Let us go. Let us know. We got you guys.
Dr. T,
Yeah.
who was that lady at the what's that called? The Voice and Viewpoint event?